Welcome to Emotionally Healthy Legacy. My name is Elizabeth, and I am a mom of four. I have three boys and one little girl. My goal here is to educate moms about emotional wellness and motherhood, learning how to regulate their own emotions in a healthy way, and then teaching their little ones regulating their emotions and how to build close relationships and families. Hi friends, welcome back to Emotionally Healthy Legacy. Today I have a guest. Her name is Jammie Baker, and I have found Jammie Baker about a year ago maybe on social media through another podcaster, and I have learned so much from her because she teaches moms how to dress themselves in a way that feels good so they can show up for the day in the best version of themselves. So welcome, Jammie. I would like you to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself because you're a mom stylist. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. I am still in the midst of moving and have a new baby. So everything around me is crazy. I'm sorry. But I am just so passionate about helping moms get dressed because I believe it's so much more than clothing. And I know we're going to dig into that, the domino effect of getting dressed. But I spent 10 years as a stylist, partially in Hollywood, partially just with the everyday man, woman, in personal styling. And then when I had a baby, I really started to focus on dressing moms in particular because I realized I was having a hard time getting dressed postpartum. And if I, as a professional stylist, was having a hard time doing this, how were regular women who are not stylists, not that I'm not a regular woman, but other women that aren't stylists navigating this? And I realized very quickly that they were not. So it is I feel like it's my calling to help moms in this area.
Oh, that's so awesome because I can totally use the tips and the help that you have to offer because I know I'm not the only one. I have had conversations with friends and family, moms that especially postpartum, there's a whole, getting dressed before you have kids is one thing. And then after having kids, your style changes, your body changes, and it's challenging. It's tricky. It's just not the same. And trying
Nope.
to discover what works and how to dress your body. So I am so glad that you do this because I know there's so many people that are helped through that.
Yes. And it helps me to stay accountable as well. I think that accountability is a really big part of it because so many of us are at home all of the time and it's very easy to slip in. We're just moms. We're just at home and nobody is keeping us accountable. So me having this as a job creates accountability. And then we can talk about later, but I've created something to create accountability for other moms as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we'll talk about that. So let's touch on how does it affect us mentally and emotionally to get dressed for the day? Because a big part of my message is that moms, in order for them to be able to respond more throughout the day and just be more calm and grounded, they need to support themselves proactively so they feel better to begin with. And then they
Absolutely.
will be able to stay more calm and grounded throughout the day. They won't get sucked in so easily into negative energy or whatever might be going on around them. So let's talk about how getting dressed for the day helps you with that.
Yeah, getting dressed for the day always helps you to be more proactive versus reactive. I love that you focused on that because in motherhood, it is so easy to be reactive. And if we can take one simple step to help combat that, that lasts the entire day, to me, it's just the pros outweigh the cons of maybe having to get up earlier or not having enough time or money or whatever excuse we use. The pro to that is being proactive all day long in everything you do. And there's so many benefits to that. There's something called enclothed cognition. And if your listeners want to look that up, it's very interesting. It talks about how what we wear primes our brain. So if we start our day and we're up at the last minute and we're rushing and we're getting kids out the door and we're getting kids up and we just decide we are not worth taking the time to get up a little bit early and get ourselves together, then you are constantly in a reactive state. And every time you look down, if you're still in your pajamas and your loungewear, you are thinking, okay, cozy, comfy. You're not thinking, I need to get stuff done. Your home is your most influential ministry, right? You are the most influential in your home than anywhere else. That needs to be the place that you're ready. You're ready to handle whatever comes your way. And when you are dressed or not dressed in loungewear or not dressed at all, you're not ready for what the day brings you. You're ready for like slipping back into bed. And it creates this subconscious of, I just need to get back and start over. I just need to get back in bed. I just need to if I could just have a few minutes to get myself together. And you're always behind instead of being in front of that problem.
Yeah, thank you. I notice myself, like if I don't get dressed for the day, which I normally do now because of everything I've learned and how far I've come. But there's some days where, like yesterday, I was just staying home, didn't go anywhere. It was just kind of doing things around the house. I'm like, I'm just going to choose not to wear makeup, not just be in loungewear. And then every time I pass the mirror, it's like, I wish I got dressed for the day, because it's like mentally, you're just not there all the way. You just feel worse. And when you
do
pass the mirror and you have some makeup on and your hair looks put together and you have like a top that makes you feel good, like you just feel so much better internally, and you feel like you're ready to tackle the day, whatever it brings.
Yeah. And I always challenge moms when they say, I'm just at home, nobody sees me. And then I want to ask them, when you walk past the mirror, do you ignore yourself? Do you look away and hide from yourself? Because it's a lie that nobody sees you. You see yourself first and foremost, and that primes your brain for what you're going to feel about yourself. And then that's going to bring up feelings of unworthiness. And I'm not saying that it means you're unworthy. I'm not saying that we're not going to have days where we're cozy and comfy, but there are most days we need to be able to look in the mirror, like you said, and think, oh, okay, yeah, I've still got it together. I'm ready for this day. And there are small tips you can do. Like today I'm wearing a graphic sweatshirt. It's one of my favorite things. I put on makeup. I put a cute hair tie in my hair. And I put on jeans instead of sweatpants or pajama pants. Like putting on real pants makes a difference. When we're done with this podcast, I'll put my earrings back in. I see you beautiful ones on. I always make too much noise with the headphones, so I take them off when I'm interviewing, but I'll put on earrings and some lip gloss, and that makes a big impact. It does not need to be difficult or overwhelming. It can be simple and make a big impact.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I definitely noticed the change, how I feel internally when I have put myself together, like 100%.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
touch on how, like, I grew up in a Christian conservative community where, like, if you focus on the external, it's considered kind of vain. And we need to focus on the spiritual and the internal growth. Like, external is just considered like a no, or just like you're more worldly if you focus on the external. And I know that you are a Christian too. And so let's touch a little bit on that and shift the perspective and the mindset. How, like, oh, this is just vain. We don't need to focus on this because it's not that important. Let's shift that a little bit for moms.
I have so many thoughts on this because I worked in full-time ministry for 10 years, grew up a Christian, and I was told so often that my job didn't matter. I started out as a retail company. I had a clothing company called Jesus Couture, and I made Christian clothing. And it was, you're vain, this doesn't matter, it's frivolous. And at the end of the day, is a t-shirt super important, or a pair of earrings? No, it's not. But we are in this world. We're not of this world, but we're in this world, and we need to wear clothes, right? And God gave us bodies to take care of. And I do believe the inside is more important than the outside, but the outside is a reflection of what's on the inside. And if we can't respect ourselves enough to put ourselves together and take care of ourselves, what is the world going to think of us? What are we modeling if it's, oh, we think, God is amazing and we follow this God, but he doesn't give us the time to take care of ourselves. And then we are modeling this for other women. We're modeling this for our children. We're teaching them how to take care of themselves. If you are to take care of everything God gives you, your home, your children, your dinner, making family for your food for your family, why don't we take care of ourselves? Why is that a bad thing? God also made us visual creatures. It is what it is. And we are so visual when we judge someone, whether you like it or not. It's not something that I think is great. It just is what it is, because we can't get to know a person before we see them, right? So when we see them, we get that first impression within 7 seconds. And when your kids see you for the day and you're never getting ready, there might be this subconscious level in your kids' brains of like, my mom doesn't do anything all day. She never gets dressed. And then what if they are, going to a job interview and they don't get dressed and you're thinking, why would you ever wear that? You need to put real clothes on. Well, you don't put real clothes on, Mom. What's the point? Right? It can be this domino effect. And then we get into marriage and it's like your husband wants to see you at your best sometimes. It doesn't mean they love you more or less, right? But they are visual creatures just like we are. And it makes a marriage more spicy and flirty and all of the things that make it a little more fun. Is it the godly foundation of a marriage? No. But I mean, it might lead to a little more fun in the bedroom, which leads to, that's a whole nother domino effect, right? It just has such an impact on every part of our lives if we take the one simple step to take care of ourselves and get dressed.
Yes, it makes me think of like how my husband's like, when I get dressed to go out of the house, he's like, why do you get dressed so nicely to leave and to look for somebody else, like to look nice for someone else? And you don't do this at home. And like if I wear like sweatpants, he doesn't really like it. He's like, can you please wear, leggings with a thong on? Like, come on.
Right.
Like,
let me see your booty.
like, let me enjoy this. Don't dress frumpy. And so that's still like a thing to work on consistently, because when I want to be comfortable, I just want to wear like loungewear and just be comfortable.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
a little bit baggy and cozy.
Yes. But then like when I look at myself in the mirror, I don't feel good when I'm dressed like that.
No, and your husband doesn't get the same message either. It's not sending that like flirtatious message that we might have always gotten dressed when we were dating, right? We can bring a little bit back of that back into our marriages at this point, even after children, just by getting dressed.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, for sure. Let's touch a little bit about like modesty, because where I grew up, like modest is like, don't draw attention to your body. Like everything just has to be like almost kind of like boxy and nothing like, so you don't, what's that word? Seduce anyone or, bring any attention to your body. So like it has to be super modest. And a lot of times, a lot of like very modest clothes just doesn't look good. It doesn't flatter you. You feel frumpy, even if it's like dress up clothes or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it just, it makes me so sad to see some women dressed that way. I'm like, you can tell it's all dark. It's all,
they're hiding.
Yes. And it's like, there's no confidence. You can tell that they don't feel good about themselves. Like when they're dressed like that. Can we touch a little bit on that and like the mindset shift that needs to happen to, like how it affects your confidence and just how you show up in the world?
Oh my goodness. You just opened like Pandora's box on modesty. I am embarrassed to say that years ago, I used to make t-shirts that said, modest is the hottest. And I used to believe in this concept of hiding. And I didn't realize what kind of mental effect I was letting someone speak that into my life, that I needed to hide my body. And do I believe that I should go out into Target in like mini skirt and thigh-high boots and a crop top? No. But I do believe that God gave me a body to take care of, and dressing it well does not mean hide it. And you have to, this is going to be personal for everyone, and I probably might step on some toes saying this stuff, but everyone has their own version of modesty, right? Modest doesn't mean hiding to me. You can be modest and still show off your figure. And we need to flip the script on how your husband said, oh, why are you getting ready to go out of the house? Why do we think, and it's not just you, I've been guilty of it too. Why do we think that it's so much more important to be cute when we go to Target or to dinner, which is great. I love a good outfit for Target, or I love a good girls' night dinner, right? Rather than looking put together and being cute for our husband at home, or feeling like our best self in our biggest place of impact and influence. It's something that the world has gotten a hold of us in our brains that we are more impactful and worth more outside in the world than we are inside our home with our people. So modesty can mean different things to different people, and that might look different inside your home versus outside your home. It's something that everyone needs to evaluate. But I think the biggest point you can look at is, am I hiding, or am I getting dressed for the worthy woman that I am?
Mm-hmm. And like being modest, you can still be modest and dress really cute and look put together.
Yes. You don't have to hide. You can, your sweater is a great example, right? You're not showing everything, but you're wearing something that fits your body.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be, I mean, we could go down a whole path with this subject. I'm very passionate about it, but I think that every person needs to look inside and think, what does modest mean to me? And the true test is, am I hiding or am I getting dressed? And a lot of that comes with worthiness. What's making me feel unworthy of dressing my body well and wanting to hide?
If you're a mom that struggles with handling her challenging emotions in a healthy way, listen up. I got a tool for you. If you go in the show notes of this podcast, you will see a link where you can sign up for a 5-day free mini course. And in that mini course, you get to learn actual practical things that you can do in the moment and outside of the moment to be more patient and calm, so you're not as overwhelmed, so you're not as stressed, and actual ways to learn to de-stress yourself and calm your nervous system down. How often do we hear that we shouldn't react, we should respond? And the problem is, well, how? In the moment, I don't know how because I'm so overwhelmed and so triggered. In this mini course, you get to learn the how. I am so excited that I have these skills that I can share with you. So go in the show notes, click on the link, enter your email, and then you can start the 5-day free mini course. Which leads us to spending money. Feeling unworthy of spending money on ourselves. And that is something that's a huge, huge mental block that I have, and I'm still working through it. It's just so, so challenging for me because I grew up in a big family. We have 6 kids. My parents were immigrants. They did not have lots of money at all whatsoever. We always bought stuff on sale. We did shop in thrift shops. Like, there was always this phrase, we don't have the money for it. And my husband grew up in the same type of home too. And then when we're married, to spend like money on ourselves for something that we don't necessarily even need. Like, oh, okay, you have, let's say, jeans, you have them. They don't look nice, but you have a pair of jeans, so you don't need a pair of jeans. And so
the work, right?
Yes. And so that mental block of like shifting, like spending money on yourself and buying something that's not maybe even full price, right? Like something that will fit you well. Like I would spend money, but it would be like, oh, $15. That's a kind of like a lot. And like, I used to like buy things that are just because it's on sale, and it kind of fits not so well, but I would spend money on it, but then like I wouldn't really feel good wearing it. But it's like, oh, I feel so guilty spending, $40 on a nice t-shirt. It just seems so much. And then you buy one for 10 and it just doesn't fit well. And so like this whole thing about spending money, like my first thought is like, we don't have the money for it. Oh, I already have something like that. I need to wear it until it's like has holes pretty much before I can justify to spend money on something, better than that. Like I just bought a pair of Good American jeans, and one of the reasons was because
that's right. You bought the always fit.
Yes. And one of the reasons was because I literally didn't have a pair that fit me right now postpartum. The ones that I had after the other kids, like I weigh more now, and I didn't have any jeans that fit me right now that I owned. And so I had to get a pair, and I really like that they are stretchy. So because, your belly's different, and then you eat and it's more bloated, and it's, it gives you some room over there. So I really, really like them, but spending, I had a coupon for a first time purchase, but it was $125. I have
They're expensive.
bought a pair of jeans or any pair of clothing for $125. That was
But how do you
such
feel in those?
amazing. I feel so good. I feel so good. And it was such a big mental thing. I had to like tell myself I am worthy to spend this money on myself. It's going to make me show up in a much better way. Like I had to do so much self-talk almost to talk myself into this. So let's talk
Mhm.
about like money blocks and women not feeling worthy enough to spend the money on themselves and be like, oh, I need to spend money on this and this and this. I just can't justify spending money, on a pair of jeans or whatever that will make me feel amazing.
You are bringing up all of these topics that I'm so passionate about. There is so much that we can do to break down this topic. And the first thing is self-worth. Why do I make all these excuses not to spend money on myself? And there are ways around it. There is nothing wrong with thrift store shopping or Poshmark or using a coupon or getting a good deal. I am not saying that the more money you spend, the better your clothes are. When it comes to jeans, that is 99% true. But it's not the case for everything. And I would never tell anyone you need to spend outside of your budget. That is not important to spend outside of your budget. But are you making excuses for spending money within your budget? Are you thinking that you are not worth as much as your kids? Your kids get new clothes, your husband gets new clothes for work, but I just stay home so I don't need clothes. What would it cost to replace you? To hire a maid and a cook and a taxi driver and all of these things that you do within a day. You deserve a good pair of jeans, right? And then if you are working from home or working outside the home and you get dressed, your women are more likely to make 20% more when they show up for their job, dress their best. 20% more.
Wow.
So if you're in like the digital space and you're showing up on Instagram and you're making sales and you're talking to potential customers, what if you spent $125 on jeans, but you made 20% more that year and then you made the money back? You can also think of ways to justify it with cost per wear. If I buy a $10, you mentioned buying the $10 shirt that like doesn't really work versus, oh my gosh, I can't spend 40 on a shirt. What if you bought the $40 shirt that you love and you wear it twice a week or even once a week? That's at a minimum 52 times a year, right? What if you bought 6 shirts that you never wear because you don't like them, so you end up in your pajamas and you spend $60 and they're just sitting in your closet? So you have to look at, what am I actually going to wear? And when it comes to spending your hard-earned money, God calls us to be wise about that, right? To steward our money well. And if we're going to steward our money well, cheaper doesn't equal better. Staying in your budget always equals better, no matter what that budget is. And you can shop well and intentional at a thrift store or at a designer boutique. But are you doing it well is what it comes down to. Are you spending frivolously by buying the $8 shirt every time you go to get toilet paper at Target? Or are you spending intentionally when you plan what you need and love to wear, and so you're going to wear it often?
Yeah, because one of the messages that you have that you teach moms is to have a mama form.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so you have like basics, and then
Yes.
you have like either, I can't think of it, something you wear on top.
A layer.
A
Yes.
layer on top. There you go. So you have basics, and like especially focusing on getting good quality basics because then you can rewear them and they will last longer, and something that will
Absolutely.
stand the test of time versus getting poor quality things. Because like I've bought stuff from like a tank top from Old Navy. They're not that great. Like
Oh, they fall apart in the washing machine.
yeah, they
Yeah.
do. And so, but it was like $8, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, okay, now I have to replace it because it didn't work well. Not at all.
Yep. We also have to think about the other side of that. So many people are like, well, I can't afford it, so I'm going to buy the $3 shirt from Shein or Forever 21 or whatever it might be. Or if I buy it from Old Navy, I can just replace it every few months. One, we have to think about the environment, right? What is that doing for the environment? And two, as Christians, what are the people getting paid to make you a $3 shirt?
Mm.
Are those livable working conditions and standards? Are they getting paid a fair wage to make you a $3 shirt that's shipped over here?
Yeah.
Probably not. So we need to be more intentional all the way around, from how we spend our money to looking into where do these products come from? What is being done to get me this, $8 shirt versus, okay, if I buy a $20 shirt from a reputable company that's going to last me 5 years, that just is more responsible all the way around.
Yeah, how about like the one thing that I struggle is like that money could be spent on something so much more valuable than getting myself a shirt, or a pair of jeans. Like
Ooh, that's a
that
good
is
one.
my big money block. I'm like, oh, I could either donate that money to a good cause, or we could buy organic food, or like that's where my brain also goes. Like I feel like there's so a much better cause to spend that money on than to spend it on myself. So like I kind of devalue my, like you said, worthiness, and that it's just I'm not worthy to spend that money on myself.
I love that one because that's a realistic point, right? I am a big fan of buying organic food for my family. I am a big fan of being generous with my money. But I also believe that it starts in the home, right? We have to start by taking care of ourselves and our family so that we can keep pouring out. And if you pour into yourself, not as a priority above the rest of your family, but equal, right? Because you're going to buy your kids clothes, your husband needs clothes for work. So I'm equally as important. So let's set our budget here, and mom gets just as much as everybody else. And if I pour into me, I can pour out to my family later. And if we're smart and responsible and intentional with this, we're not wasting money. And we can buy organic food because I'm not buying six $10 shirts. I'm buying one $30 shirt over the year. So looking at it from a very intentional place, and stepping back and looking at it as just another human and not you, right? Look at it as like, okay, this is a family, and look at it objectively instead of personally. And then you might be able to take that money block out of it. Because if you were telling your friend to spend money on a shirt she needs, you're not going to tell her you're not worth it. You're not worth spending the $30. What would you say to a friend? Are you speaking down on yourself in a way you wouldn't speak down on your daughter or your friend?
That really hits it for me. Because I remember like at one point I was in therapy too, and one of my therapists told me, she's like, the things you say to yourself you wouldn't say to a friend. If let's
Mm-hmm.
say, what you're going through right now and you're having a hard day and you lost it on your kids, if your friend was going through the same thing you're going through, would you judge her for that? You'd be like, no, I can see why that happened. Like you're going through something really hard in your life. And so
Mm-hmm.
just the way we talk to ourselves, like we wouldn't talk to anyone else. We wouldn't talk, like you said, to a close friend or to our daughter. We wouldn't talk to her like that and say things like that. But we tend to do that. But if we say it to ourselves, our kids see that.
They do, and they see it played out in how we show up as well. So you intentionally buying a shirt and a pair of pants that makes you feel really good helps you to be a role model for your daughter, helps you to have a better marriage. And so when you really have to work through mental blocks of money, we need to think in abundance and not lack, and not in a worldly way of like manifesting it and doing all these crazy things, right? But what is abundance in this scenario? Abundance is showing up for my family. Abundance is confidence to teach my children to show up for whatever God has called them to do and for their purpose. And this is my calling and my purpose. And if I show up for it, I'm modeling that abundance and that confidence to my children and to my friends and to the people on the internet when I show up for my job. And that is worth so much more than just beating yourself up to save a couple bucks, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh, for sure. Thank you so much for like shifting the mindset on that. That is, even for me, like helpful. It's like it's a journey that just continue. You have to continue going through it. Like
Yep.
things come up all the time, constantly that you need to work through. You and I are both newly postpartum. Your baby is 4 months. Mine is going to be 4 months in a week. And can we touch on like getting dressed postpartum? Just the fact of getting dressed, and then just a couple tips of dressing your body postpartum, because that is like huge. That is like a huge
Yeah.
struggle for so many moms.
It's a struggle for me. I'll be honest, I do not like getting dressed when I'm pregnant, and I do not like getting dressed postpartum. It's really mentally challenging for me. Um, and it's for me, it's not the money spending. It's just like I would feel better if I was 3 sizes smaller, like I was before I was pregnant, right? It's, yeah, I could buy the clothes, but I won't look as cute as I did before. And I say that not to tell you that that's the right thing to think, but that even as a stylist, I'm right here with the rest of you. It is a mental battle. But the mental part of postpartum is really hard, right? We have so many hormones going on. We have so much pressure and the exhaustion, and there's just so much that goes with it. We cannot afford to sacrifice our mental health just because we don't want to dress this body. And when I buy the clothes that fit my body right now, I might not feel as quote unquote pretty as I did before pregnancy, but I feel 100 times better than I do when I'm hiding. So we have to look at it that way. It's not going to be perfect. It's just not, but we have to show up the best as the best version of ourselves, the size we are today, for the life we have today. And so many women have come back with that and said, but I'm going to lose weight and I'm going to eventually fit into my clothes. So I don't want to spend the money on the clothes for this size.
That's me. That was so hard. That was one of the reasons why it was so hard to spend that $125 on this pair of
Yes.
jeans. Because I'm like, well, I plan on losing the weight, and I did with all the other three kids, and it took me about a year and a half, but I got back. So it's so hard for me to spend this money on the pair of jeans because I know I will probably get out of them eventually.
Yeah. And which is one reason I love the Always Fit jeans, is because they're probably going to fit you over the year, right? So that was a really good intentional purchase. But think about what you're hiding from for 365 days while you don't wear the pants. 365 mornings of hating what your options are to wear, of feeling frustrated and overwhelmed, of never looking good, of hiding in pictures, of going on less dates with your husband, of going on less park dates and friend dinners, and opening the door to your home to host because you just don't have anything to wear. 365 days is a lot of days to not feel confident or pretty or beautiful or worthy. And if a pair of jeans that fit you can change all of that, I mean, it's worth 3 times the price, right? To
Yes, because
show
I
up for 365 days.
4 or 5 days a week because
Yes.
I wear them a lot. And I'm also a person, I'm like, if I spend this much money, I will make it worth it. Like, I will
Yeah.
make sure I wear it.
Yeah. I teach women how to get dressed with and to be very intentional about it, not because I want them to be obsessed with style and clothes and think about clothes all the time like I do, it's because I want them to get dressed so that they can go on with their day and show up. The truth is that you can lie to yourself and make the excuse of, I don't care about clothes. I don't care about clothes right now because I'm postpartum and in 1 year I'll look cute and it's fine. No, you care more about clothes with that lie because you spend all day pulling at your pants and hiding from pictures and thinking about the bra that doesn't fit and the shirt that's not working. And if you had clothes that fit, you would never be thinking about those things. You would just get dressed and go about your day and work on what's more important.
Oh, that is so well said. Thank you. Oh, that is so good. Can we have, before you go, just a few tips, how to feel a little bit more put together? I know you talk a lot about accessories, putting a little bit of makeup on, just like those are some like basic things. I do the tuck shirt,
Love
tuck
it.
the shirt, the
The
half
half
tuck.
tuck.
Yeah, so those are like a few things. Can you like talk a little bit more about those that can be like really helpful? Um,
Absolutely. So my favorite tip that anyone could write this down, get out a pen and paper and write down this outfit formula when you're having a hard time getting dressed. So the easiest tip that you can do is remember the basic outfit formula when you're having a hard time getting dressed or putting an outfit together. It's a basic top, a basic bottom, or basic one-piece dress, romper, or jumpsuit. And then add your personal style to that, a layer, a pair of shoes, and accessories. So that could be a headband, a necklace, some bracelets, a statement earring, some glasses. I have a lot of clients who wear funky glasses as their signature statement piece. Put a piece into your wardrobe every day that makes you feel like you, that is an outward expression of who you are on the inside, because God made you so unique, and you can show the world that with these really fun little flares, whether it's a classic trench coat or a funky pair of glasses, a glamorous pair of earrings, a bright red lip. Infuse a part of who you are into your outfit to make it feel authentic. Do a little half tuck instead of wearing a shirt just, making you feel a little bit frumpy and not tucked in. Scrunch up your sleeves. Put on a pair of really fun shoes. Make it fun, because at the end of the day, it's not that serious. It's just fashion, but we have to get dressed, right? We can't walk around naked. So if we have to get dressed, we might as well make the best of it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Those are so helpful. Just like knowing that those are things to focus on. Because sometimes mom's like, I don't know how to put myself together. I don't know how to what are some styling tips? So those are just practical little things that can be super,
remember
super
the
helpful.
basics.
Yes. Okay. Tell us where our listeners can find you and what you have, because you do have a membership, and then you do, I believe, have a course.
I do.
So tell us a little bit about that. And then you usually have also a styling guide, I believe.
I do, yes, a seasonal styling guide. So I hang out mostly on Instagram, and everything is linked from Instagram, and it's at Jammie Baker, and Jammie looks like Jammie, like your jammies. And it's Jammie Baker _. And I have a course that teaches you the basic foundations of your personal style. So if you don't know your style type, your body shape, how to put outfits together, that's the course for you. How to actually dress for the lifestyle you have, not the lifestyle you used to have or dream of having. And then I have a membership where we hold each other accountable. We have really fun style challenges. I put out a seasonal style guide that's a capsule wardrobe every season. So if you just want to say, okay, I just need someone to tell me to copy paste, there you go. I do that for you. We keep each other accountable with our private Facebook group and get outfit tips and shopping tips from each other. And then I do, inside that membership, there's a weekly style class, a guest speaker, and what we call the Mama Form Hour with me. You get access to me for 1 hour every month to ask me anything you want about personal styling. So it's a lot of fun to just be a woman and have fun, just something for ourselves that we can create community and just show up.
And that is I feel like that is a perfect example of self-care, of an investment in yourself. This is not for your kids. This is not for your husband. I mean, they will get the benefits of it, but it's
will.
For you, for you to become a better version of yourself.
Absolutely.
Sure. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. And we'll link that below in the show notes for
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you.